So we had a moment there. Obviously, the aliens are interfering already.
And it's time for this. It is time to phone home. Yes, our man at the movies standing by, and Collie at Eclipse Cinemas. It's a big day today.
Yes, it is
Disclosure Day.
disclosure day. And, I'm going to disclose right at the top. This is really good. I can't wait to tell you about this.
Right.
So, this is the brand new Steven Spielberg movie. Yeah, what I was thinking about is, so all the trailers were saying, oh, his best movie for years. And I was thinking, like, when people say that, it's often like damning with faint praise. They're kind of going, yeah, he hasn't had any.
Yeah.
You know, the way people say, oh, it's the best record for years. What they're really saying is, God, the other stuff hasn't been great. But I think when it's Spielberg, you're going, oh, that's quite the claim. Can it be true? From the second I saw the trailer, we talked a little bit about this last week. From the second I saw the trailer, there was a real sort of throwback, not old fashioned. It's still very modern movie, but with the excitement that Spielberg movies had. It's a bit Close Encounters. There's a bit actiony movie like Indiana Jones, that sort of stuff, Jurassic Park, and it barrels along. And yet, I still didn't really know from the trailer what it was about. So we'll play the little clip and see if you can get a clue what's going on with Disclosure Day.
People have a right to know the truth. Oh my God.
You got a job!
They're coming.
It starts full into the action, which I was really surprised at. It just starts at a pace in a sort of a hostage negotiation. And so you've got it's a lot of British actors and an Irish one, but they're all playing Americans. But it's Josh O'Connor, who's one of the new up and coming stars, is this sort of data analyst, mathematician genius who has been exposed to this information and he's robbed it, and he's on a runner with his girlfriend, who's Eve Hewson, Bono's daughter, who's very good in this too. Meanwhile, there's this woman, Emily Blunt, who's this sort of breezy sort of weather girl, and it's kind of the sexy weather girl, not being taken very seriously. And all of a sudden, suddenly this thing happens to her, and she can speak lots of different languages. She seems to know things, and nobody can understand why this is all happening. And there's this shady sort of government organization headed by Colin Firth out looking for them. And that's how it starts, and it barrels along everywhere. So
some visions of E.T. here, isn't it? A little bit of this.
A bit the X-Files, as I said, Close Encounters of a Third Kind, where people are compelled to do something and they don't know why. But there is that kind of hopeful thing of it. And then there's a couple of scenes. There's a scene with a train, Seamie. You will be on the edge of your seat, but it's almost pure Indiana Jones. Like, it's not played for a laugh, where they're just going along. It's a pure action scene, and you go, "Oh, this is Spielberg." And I was going to say his greatest hits, but that makes it sound like he's fallen back and stuff before. But it's more that he went, what am I good at? I'm good at giving you characters you care about. I'm good at action and excitement. And I'm good at using the best of modern technology with old filmmaking techniques. It's filmed on old 35mm, but he's using all sorts of effects. He's the best of new young actors, but he's there going, we want a classic movie star performance, particularly by Emily Blunt, who, look, is always great, but she's particularly
in loads of scary stuff, isn't she?
Yeah, but she's particularly great in this because she kind of has to be this all of a sudden, that she's speaking different languages, but make it sound like she thinks she's speaking English as she's doing it.
Right.
And like it's so well done. I think people kind of have an idea what it's about. It's about that, that a government knew that there were aliens on Earth, but they haven't discovered it, and we're trying to open up a day where the whole world is told at once. But
which the Men in Black told us little years ago.
Yeah, it is, but it is more than that. This is kind of different alien. But there's loads of throwbacks to loads of other alien movies. Because Spielberg, if nothing else, he also watches loads of movies, and he's kind of playing on it a bit. And you're kind of going, is this going, as you said, E.T., maybe even Close Encounters, or is it more War of the Worlds? Which he also did. That these are evil or not. I just enjoyed it from start to finish. It's about 2 hours long, and it just barrels along. And it's
fantastic.
quality stuff. And I suppose, like, maybe just to finish it up, the guy who brought us the summer blockbuster, Seamie, it's probably right that he's brought us back what we used to have, an original story, but a summer blockbuster that's smart. And it doesn't tell you everything. It's saying you do the work, and it's not afraid of like using big words and things like that. But also, a 10-year-old will enjoy it. And, people like you and me who are slightly older than 10 will also enjoy it. Great stuff.
Oh, this is right up my alley.
Oh, yeah, you're going to love
it. Steven Spielberg, funny enough, he was in the news today, and he came out and he said one of his biggest regrets in the movie industry, he never got to produce or direct a Bond movie.
Yeah, I listened to that interview with him, actually. And the funny thing, he was joking at the end. He goes, and by the time they might have let me do it, I said, you couldn't afford me. But at the time, but the great thing about it was he was telling George Lucas that story as George Lucas was just going big with Star Wars. And George Lucas said, I've got something that you might like more than a James Bond. It's called, at the time, Indiana Smith.
That's
Indiana
right.
Smith and well, we were really without Raiders of the Lost Ark. Like, so
Here, come here. We'll move on for Spielberg. K-pop, Demon. It's back. What's the story here?
This is the same movie as we talked about last time. But what it is, it's 1 year old, and they've released it for the cinemas again because people love. We talked many times about the communal thing with cinema. People love sing-alongs. People love going to the cinema early on the morning and having a sing song. It was by far the biggest movie anywhere on streaming, in cinemas, or anything last year. And one of the things about it was it was so big. They weren't expecting it to be so big. They didn't have the sequel ready. They didn't have the toys ready. It caught them all by surprise, right?
Oh, yeah.
And it was huge. Kids have seen this
for
100 times, and they will see it 100 times more. The songs are great, and they're bringing it back to the cinema for this weekend only. And actually, here's a good example of something that's coming back, right? Because along the same lines, there's a little movie, Spielberg was talking about this, called Obsession, that was out a couple of weeks ago. They made it for $750,000, right? And it was meant maybe they'd find a streaming stuff for it, maybe get it on TV or something like that, make a few bob. It has made so far $243 million, over 243 times its budget, right? It'll be by far the most profitable movie ever. We had it for 2 weeks, it was packed, but new movies come out and pushed it out. The amount of phone calls, the amount of emails, so it's coming back. But it goes to show you with what we were talking about with K-pop, when people love something, and it's not always, they can't predict what people will love.
Absolutely, that's Obsession. Misted Monday, you're bringing back 500 Miles. Great film.
Lovely movie. Just such a gorgeous movie with Bill Nighy doing his best attempt at an Irish accent. It's a bit wobbly at times, but it's the only flaw you can have with the movie. It's about two young boys who are growing up in England. The parents have fallen out with their granddad, and they decide to run away and go to join him. And lots of laughs along the way, and more than a few tears. It's lovely.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. We were playing Taylor Swift title to Toy Story 5. When are we going?
Yeah, this time next week. People will be going to see it. We will have seen it beforehand, and we'll be chatting about it. But this time next week, Toy Story 5 is coming out, and I'm very excited about it. I was saying to you off air, we just think it might be really good, a real return to form.
Okay, that's Collie on Movies. Till next Thursday on Toy Story.